The nice thing about CNC machines is you can accurately make repeatable projects like this where you can have joints where you don't have to do any extra work to. You can make flat pack furniture, or you can make a display shelf like this, and all these joints just click right together. The problem that most people face when making a project like this is they cannot get the joints to fit precisely together. So what I like to do is create test pieces like this to fine-tune your joints and get the most accurate fit possible. What you don't want is something like that where the joint is way too loose. Of course, you also don't want it too tight where you cannot fit them together. What you're after is something like this where the joints fit nice and snugly together. So whether you're doing something like this or you're doing something a little bit more complicated like this part here, it has like a puzzle joint, and you can see that fits nice and snugly together where you can barely even see the joint line. So whatever type of project you're doing with joints, in this video I'm going to show you how to accurately calculate those joints and get perfect fitting joints every single time. And as a bonus, I'm going to throw this file for this display shelf for free down below in the description. So if you want this file, go check that out as well. All right, so let's hop over to Vectric software and I'll show you how this is done. So the first thing we have to do here is create our vectors, and we have to make sure we have a spot to place these vectors. So in this particular job, you can see I have some empty space on the top and then also some empty space in these cutout areas. So what I like to do is determine which area I would like to place these vectors in. And in this case, this top area seems like it'll work okay. So I am going to create 2 sample vectors up at the top here to test fit these joints. And to do that, what I like to do is first have everything laid out the way I want it. And you can see I already have my toolpaths created as well. We can see what this looks like if we preview these. And this will give you a good idea of what we have to work with. So you can see these triangle pieces will be scrap area, as well as the top area up here is going to be scrap. So these are perfect opportunities to have some scrap area to cut sample pieces to test fit our joints before we actually cut all of these parts. Because if this was the only piece of material we had for this project, if we were just to cut this project without test fitting the joints, our joints may not fit correctly and this project may be ruined, or we may have to alter it later to make it work for us. So in this case, it's better just to make a test cut first in your scrap area, and we should have enough room up here to make several cuts if we need to. So to do this, we have to create our vectors. And what I like to do is take both parts of the joint. So in this case, it'll be the shelf and this support piece. So I'm going to hold shift and select both of those. And I like to make a copy of these. That way I can cut them in the areas we need to. So to make a copy, you can simply double click on the shapes to go into the transform mode. And then if you hold the control key as you drag with your left mouse button, and then release your left mouse button, and then release the control key, that makes a copy while holding the control key. So now we have these 2 copy pieces that we can use to cut the pieces that we need to, which in this case will just be this area where the joint is. So what I'm going to do next is go to the drawing tab, and in this case I'm going to use a rectangle, and I'm going to draw a rectangle up here, a size that I know I can cut. So let's just say something like that. Looks like it'll fit okay up there. So now I can use this size to trim to these joints. So I'm going to click close on this. And now what I'm going to do is take this rectangle we just drew, and I'm going to place it on top of this joint. And I can move this joint by moving the rectangle with my arrow keys. And I want the joint closer to the edge here. This is going to be the area that's going to be cut. And that's going to leave us with more material here for our test piece. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to select this rectangle and double click on it, and then use your control key as you click and drag, and that will make a copy for this one up here. In this one I need to rotate, but actually I'm going to rotate the shelf instead of the rectangle, because the rectangle we need to be horizontal to fit into this area up here. So I'm going to take the shelf and select it and use my keyboard shortcut key, the number 9 or the number 0, to rotate 45 degrees at a time. And if you click it twice, it will rotate it 90 degrees. And then we can move it into position, and this will allow us to create our joint. And if I actually take the rectangle and line it up on the back side like so. When I trim this overhang, that means this rectangle sample piece will be exactly the depth of my shelf. So that'll be another great test to work with. All right, so our rectangles are in place. Now it's time to trim these. And I like to take these shapes. I don't want it overlapping any other shapes, just to make it easier. So I'm going to move it up here. And then to trim these, you can use the scissor tool, the interactive trim. Make sure the box is checked to join parts back together after we trim them. And then all you're going to do is zoom into those rectangle areas and trim anything outside of those rectangles. And you can see this shape is grouped together, so we have to first select it, click the letter U to ungroup, and then go back to that scissor tool, and then we can now trim anything outside of that rectangle. And then where the joint is, we're going to trim the rectangle. So now we're going to be cutting this area here, and then back here you can decide if you want to trim this corner off or if you want to keep it square. Either way is fine. You can do that however you want to for the sample. I'll just trim that corner off just so I can get an idea of the depth of that support piece. And then the same thing for the shelf. We're going to trim anything outside of the rectangle, and then anything where the joint is, we're going to trim outside of that. And that leaves us with this. And since we checked that box to join stuff together, now when we click close, you can see that joined all together and now is one closed vector. And you can see you may have a stray vector line on the edge there. We can delete that. But now we have a closed vector there and a closed vector there. So now we could take both of these, move them down in this area that we know they will fit into. And I like to place them far enough to the side. That way if I need to make adjustments to these joints, I have room over here to do that a few times. So I will take these both and move them to the left about as far as I can there, giving me a little extra room on the edge. And now I have room over here to do at least 2 more sample pieces if I needed to. So now these 2 are ready to go. What I like to do is go to the toolpath tab. If you already have the toolpath created for your finished parts, you can right click on that and duplicate it. That way all of the settings will be exactly the same. And then just double click on that and deselect everything, and then select your 2 sample pieces and then click calculate. Now that means this toolpath will be exactly the same as your toolpath for the original parts that you're going to create. So now we know everything should be the same no matter which way you cut that. And just make sure you're cutting on the outside of the lines when you set these toolpaths up. That way it's cutting on the correct side of the line. And you can see if you turn the solid view on, we are cutting on the outside of those lines, leaving this joint size the exact size you created it. Okay, so now this is created. What I would do from here is just save this toolpath for those 2 sample pieces. We're going to load the piece up into our machine and zero our tool in the lower left corner that this is set up in. You would zero your tool wherever you have this entire job set up as. And then we're going to cut just those 2 little pieces up at the top there, leaving the rest of the material untouched. And then we're going to test fit those. If they fit, then we're good to go and we can cut the remaining part of the sheet. If they're not good, then we can repeat this process over here and adjust the size of our joints until we get it fitting correctly. Once we get that fit correct, then we can make any adjustments we need to the rest of these shapes, and then we're ready to go and cut these. All right, so let's go out to our machine and cut the 2 sample parts. To start out my test cutting process, I'm going to use some double-sided tape to hold this down. You can use whatever method you like to hold your project down, but just try to make sure you have some hold down behind your small pieces. So I made sure I put a piece of tape right behind that area. And then I'm going to zero off the bed of my machine. That's the way I set it up in Vectric. You can zero off the material surface as well. And I also zeroed off the lower left-hand corner. Now we're going to load up the file, and this is going to be just the test file, and we're going to run that up at the top sheet where we have some extra material. And then you can see here, we just do a simple test fit. And then I want to check with a feeler gauge. This is the best way I find to test your fitment. And if it's too loose, you can get your measurement right from the feeler gauge. And this is going to be the number we're going to use inside of Vectric software. If you like one of these feeler gauges, I will link those down below in the description. But let's go back into Vectric software and get this adjusted so we get a better fitment. Okay, now we did our first test joint. And if we don't like the fit, we can now copy this. So we could take our two shapes we already made, double click on them, and then hold Control and drag those over here into more empty space that we have. You can even copy them one more time just to make sure you'll have room, just in case you have to make them again. You see we do have room there, so I will delete those. But now I could take these two new ones and adjust the measurements to our new fitment that we are going to try out. So to do this, there's a few ways you can split these apart. The way I like to do this in this situation would be go to Node Edit and then right click and cut the vector, or you can use the shortcut key, the letter C, to cut, and you can see that will isolate that slot by itself. This side is going to be a little bit different because we do have a radius here. So what I'm going to do is delete that by right clicking and delete the span, or you can hover over that arc and click the letter D, which is the shortcut key to delete that. And now that isolates these two rectangles. So now what we can do is go to our drawing tab, go to the scale tool, select one of these rectangles, and we are going to make our adjustments here. So I'm going to unlink the X and Y, so I'm only adjusting the height, and I'm going to keep the anchor point at the center so it stays centered where it's at. And then depending on if you're going bigger or smaller, you're either going to add or subtract this measurement. I want to go smaller, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to use the minus symbol, and we can type our formula in right here. So you're going to do minus whatever measurement you measured. So in this case, it is 0.015. And then I'm going to type equals, and that will give me my new number, and I'm going to click apply. And now that just shortened just that little bit, and you'll see a little gap there on the top and the bottom. We'll connect that here in a second. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. We can subtract 0.015, click equals, and then click apply. And then click close. And now what we can do is use the extend tool in the edit objects menu. And this will allow us to close up these gaps. So we're going to click on one line to extend, click on the other line, and that will join those two together. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom, and then the same thing on these lines here. So you want to click the line with the gap there first, and then click the line it's going to stop to. And then same thing at the top, click one, then two, and then close. Now you'll have to double check these because you could see sometimes it doesn't join them together. So what you'll have to do is you can select all of these, click the join tool, and you can see where I have two closed vectors after it's done and 0 open. So we're going to click join, click close, and now we have two closed vectors. So that's all we have to do there. Now we just have to go to the toolpath tab and then duplicate that toolpath we just made. So duplicate that again. And now I'm going to double click on this to open it up. And I'm going to select the two new shapes that we have here and keep all the settings the same and click calculate. And you'll see now we'll have a new test piece that will run right next to the previous two. And now we can save just this toolpath by itself and go to save toolpath. So I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to choose my USB drive and save it in there. And now we're ready to go. So we're going to take this out to the machine and test cut this one to check the fitment. For the second test cut, we're going to use the same exact 0 position so we don't have to adjust that. And then you can see, since we moved it in Vectric software, it is now going to be right next to the previous ones we just cut. And then once we get these cut out, it's a good idea to sand them nice and smooth, just like you would with a finished piece. And then you can see this test fitment was much tighter. And you can see this one's the first one, very loose. And this one's the second one, that nice snug fit that you were after. So once we get this confirmed, now we can go over to Vectric and make our final adjustments for the finished project. All right, now we just confirmed that these ones are going to work out perfect for us. So we can stop our testing here. If we had to go further with our testing, we could have done another set over here. Usually within the first 3 tries, you'll get it. So you can play around with that as much as you need. If you ran out of material here, hopefully you had more material you can use. You can also use scraps inside of other shapes if you have the room for them. You can even shorten those up if you had to fit into those areas. But no matter what, you want to use the same material as your parts. That will give you the best idea of the fitment. Okay, so now we have our confirmation there. Now we have to adjust all of the slots to match what we just made here. Now you could adjust the toolpath if you really wanted to, but if you did that, it's going to adjust the overall size of all of your parts. So with this particular project, it wouldn't be too much of a concern. These measurements are not super critical. So if I wanted to, I could take the toolpath for that profile toolpath around all of these parts, and I could adjust what is called the allowance offset, and I could set this to a negative number, and the negative number would be half of that measurement that we adjusted the other ones, because it will adjust both sides. So I would take 0.015 and divide it by 2, so you could do that right in that box, and then click equals, and then change that to a negative number. So that will now make the overall part that much smaller all the way around. And actually you want that a positive number, because a positive number will make the part bigger and make the slot smaller. And then if you did a negative number, it would make the overall part smaller, but since it's cutting on the right side of this line, it would make the slot larger. So a negative number for larger slots and a positive number for smaller slots. And then if I just click calculate, and if you see, if I go back to the 2D view, you could see now the cut line is a little bit further away from the original line. And for the slots, that's perfect because it made them a little bit smaller, exactly the measurement we needed. But you'll see the outside of the shape will also get larger. So if that's not a concern, you can leave it just like that and it'll be okay. If that is a concern, I would recommend changing just the slot sizes, and you can do that using the same method I showed you for the test piece. And I also made another video with 5 different methods you can use to change slot widths. I'll link that down in the description below this video. So if you want to check that one out, you can as well. But either way you do it, make sure you recalculate the toolpath at the end. So if you were to change the slot widths, go back to this toolpath, reselect all of the new vectors, and click calculate to recalculate that toolpath. And that will give you a brand new toolpath for the adjusted vectors. And then you're going to go to save toolpath, and you're going to resave that original profile toolpath with all of your new part sizes. And then once you do that, you're ready to go on your machine and start cutting those right away. And one other tip I will mention here before we do that is these parts are all the same for the shelves. So you only have to adjust one of these for the slot widths if that's what you're doing, and then you can copy it 3 more times. Same thing with these side parts that I'm using. They're both exactly the same, so I would adjust one of them and then just copy it for the second one. So you don't have to adjust 8 slots. Instead, you can do 4 slots and then just copy the shape and delete the other one. So that's a little productivity tip for you to save you on some extra work. All right, so I'm going to make these final adjustments, and then we're going to go out to the shop and finish cutting this out. After you cut your final parts out, you should have nice tight fitting joints now after you clean your parts up because of that testing phase that we went through. And the same process that I showed in this lesson will apply to any types of joints you make, where you can fine tune your joints to fit perfectly. Now don't forget, I have this digital file available for download down below in the description. So if you want to download that for free, make sure you go and check that out. But until next time, if you have any questions, just let me know. That's all for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. And if you want to master your Vectric software, make sure you check out my Vectric training classes linked right here, where we go much more in depth how to use the Vectric software step by step. And included with my training courses is weekly Q&A calls where I can answer your questions one-on-one and get the support you need. And if you want to watch another great Vectric tip, check out this video posted right here.